In this video, I'll be showing you how to add audiences to your Google Ads campaign. So one thing to note before we get this started is you are going to need to have your Google Analytics account connected to your Google Ads account in order to set this all up properly. If you haven't done that yet, go watch our video on how to set up and connect your Google Analytics account to your Google Ads. That way, you are able to track as many audiences as possible with as much precision as possible. So once you have that set up, then you can come back and set up your audiences. You don't necessarily have to do it here. You can do it outside of the campaign setup feature inside inside the audiences tab inside the Google Ads management platform. But I will be showing you how to set it up via the campaign setup feature. So once we have all of those prerequisites taken care of, we can go to our audience segments, and from here we'll see all the ideas that it has for us. We can also see audiences that we've used before. We can just show the audiences we've used before, or we can show all the ideas that it has. I like to have recent and ideas showing up. That way we can pick through all the best ideas. And really, we just want to select anything that seems remotely relevant to the business. This is one of the few cases where you can put in as much as you want and it really won't affect it, as long as we are just in the observation section. If we're looking into just targeting these specific audiences, then you will need to have a lot more data on what audiences you perform best with. So I don't recommend targeting at the start of a new campaign. This is something that you can use in the future when you see that you clearly have audiences that you were performing a lot better with. Then you can go in and actually target those specific audiences. We have a video on our channel talking about how to manage a Google Ads campaign using the audience segments feature. So when you're first setting up a campaign, I highly recommend that you use observation. But if you're setting up this campaign based on data you've collected in the past, you can use targeting and go through and click on the audiences that you've used in the past by just going to recent, and then you can click on all the audiences that performed well for you. But in this example, we will just be doing observation, so we will be picking a ton of audiences to go after. The reason you can pick as many audiences as you want without it affecting your performance is because Google is just using this to collect data. It is not optimizing your campaign in the slightest based on this, and people can be in multiple audiences at once, and it will show data for all of them. So it's not like if you only have the budget for 10 clicks, if you have 10 audiences, each one of them only gets one click. You could end up having 43 clicks showing to your audiences because one person who clicks on your ad might be in several different of those categories. So picking as many relevant categories as possible is going to be super helpful because you will be able to find the categories that work best for you. Obviously, you don't want to just click on everything because that's a ton of data to go through, and it would be very difficult to find all the data that you would like, and there's just a lot of audiences in there that just aren't useful for certain businesses. So we are setting up this campaign for a skydiving company, so we're really just looking for anything that seems relevant to a skydiving company. So in this case, family vacationers. Yep, people vacationing would obviously potentially be interested in our services. Outdoor enthusiasts would be interested. Sports and fitness, people who are active. Skydiving is definitely more of an active type event. Thrill seekers, that's obviously going to be super useful. Water sports enthusiasts. So this could go back and forth. I'm assuming that people who like doing water sports or just sports in general are going to be more on the adventurous side. So anything with sports we will click on. Anybody who likes to travel will be good for Chattanooga skydiving. Sports and fitness, I don't know that this necessarily completely overlaps with our target demographic per se, but it's not like it's going to be a bad thing to have, and it was given as a recommendation to us. So we'll select it. Travel, obviously good. We already have travel in here, so it should only show us, so there's affinity markets, and then you've got in-market segments, and essentially these are just different types of audiences that Google keeps track of. It's not going to have a huge impact on how you select your audiences. You really just want to select it based on what will be useful information to you. Sports fans, we can kind of leave that out. I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with what we're selling. Outdoor recreational equipment, I mean, we could select that because it's people who are buying stuff to do things outdoors, but we already have an audience around outdoor enthusiasts, so this would kind of be like a secondary removed market. It's 2 steps removed from our service, so we'll leave it out. Travel buffs, that would fall into the travel section as well. Lifestyle and hobbies, not really going to fall into the category that we're talking about. It's a little bit too broad, but if you do have any questions and you don't know whether you should check it or not, just check it to be safe. That way you can at least track data on it and see it. Nightlife enthusiasts, these are going to be people who are adventurous as well, so we can select that. All users of Chattanooga skydiving, so this is one of those super helpful things for any business, is tracking how visitors to your website interact with your ads, which is why we have you set up and connect Google Analytics to Google Ads so that you can track this. So that's obviously going to be a great segment. And obviously we'll just be coming down all the way through here. All visitors to Google Ads, all visitors to Google Analytics. We want to select all that because we want to collect all that data based on people who have interacted with us in the past before. And then all these aren't going to be super useful to us unless maybe they're traveling to where we do our skydives, which would be in Chattanooga, but I don't see anything like that here. AdWords optimized list, yep, we want to check that on. And so once we check through all the recommendations, now we can go and look at the detailed demographics, and we'll go through here and find anything that would be useful. Employment, not going to be super useful for us. Homeowner status doesn't really apply. Education, not going to be super important to us. Marital status, it could be interesting to see how people are doing based on this. We do already have 16 other markets selected, so it's not like we're lacking markets to track. So if, for example, we only had like 4 or 5 over here, I would select all these just to kind of see how it pans out for us. Parental status, we're not really marketing anything to parents per se, so not really anything for us to track there. If we go to interest and habits, this is where it's going to get a little bit more nuanced in terms of what are some other hobbies that people might be interested in that are also interested in our service. That's kind of where we get into interest and habits. That would be the affinity markets. And so we'll just kind of go through here, and anything that seems to be a group that would be interested in skydiving is something we would go through here and add to. So looking through, it looks like we took care of most of that. And for example, if sports and fitness is too broad, you can get in and look at specific portions. But if you have this selected right here, it covers all of these. But if you want to look at a very specific subset of sports and fitness, you can do both. So now we can look at weightlifters and sports and fitness as a whole group. So it really depends on how niche you want your data. So now that we have all those selected, we can go back out, we can go to in market. And so this is people who have bought stuff from these types of people, or that they are currently looking to buy from these types of industries. So any industry that kind of overlaps with us. So if we were a restaurant, for example, we would want to go into the food section. That would probably be something that would be super useful for us. But going through here, maybe seasonal shopping, maybe we want to see how people who are Christmas shopping interact with our ads. Those are all just things that are kind of going to depend on the business and the amount of data you want to be looking at. But I like what we've got so far. And from here, we're going to go to our last one. We ignore the combined segments. This one you typically need to add in data manually, and so we just won't worry about that at the moment. But this is how people have interacted with our website. I like to check all of these for the most part, just to see how our ads interact with all the people who already interacted with us before. That's always going to be super useful data, because maybe it's possible that people who've already interacted with us before don't convert very often, and so we don't want to show to them anymore. And so that's where all this information really comes into play. So that's a quick overview of how to select the audiences and how to use that data in the future to adjust your ads. Hope this video helps. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out with any questions that you might have. We'd be more than happy to help, and hope to see you in the next video.